Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Live here on TV3. My name is Park Sara. It's coming to you live from our news hub here at Desawe in Kanda. Top of the bulletin this hour. Thirteen suspects, including Kennedy Japan and Anas Aremia, being investigated over death of Tiger Eye PI journalist Ahmed Swale. Also, Men's Gold customers demand publication of all assets belonging to owner Nana Appiah Mensah, aka Nam1. And elsewhere on the international front, EU chief negotiator Sassi A says no deal Brexit is now more likely but can still be avoided. We've got details of all these plus many more coming up in the next 60 minutes. All right, we're streaming live on Facebook. You can also join us with your views, comments, and suggestions on any of our top stories this hour. Visit any of our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. Now, some aggrieved customers of Men's Gold have petitioned the Economic and Organized Crimes Office to make public assets frozen by owner Nana Appiah Mensah. They want assets of other managers of the dealership company confiscated, as well as to fully offset their locked-up investments. My colleague George Quenin is there and brings us more.
So we're just in front of the Economic and Organized Crime Office, EOCO, and here some aggrieved customers of Men's Gold are here to petition EOCO. They want the full list of items or assets that have been confiscated by EOCO. And somewhere last year, the coalition stated that it would intensify their protest to ensure their lockup funds are paid them. And so they are here in their numbers, and even the placards can tell you how frustrated these customers are. And they'll go all out to make sure some assurance is given them before they leave this very premises. And leadership of the coalition of aggrieved customers of Men's Gold are also in a tight meeting with some members of EOCO. And so if anything comes out of that meeting, we'll surely keep you updated. And now let's just engage some of the customers and then let's see their side of the story. As I said early on, the placards tell you how frustrated they are, and so clearly they are all angry and aggrieved at the moment.
Nanado don't cry Akufuado. And that means go to 24. Yes, let's say brother Bekomaye. And now you walk with Kajam. Okuja them Nanado don't cry Akufuado. Means God is it. Baby, wajamu papa and your mama. Means God is it. Obia waja the baho. Means God is it. Nanado don't cry Akufuado. Nobody but just stroke. Our Means God is it. Institution Bank of Ghana. Check the Minerals Commission. Anything you are doing, we know asset of Nam1 is being confiscated, but we have information, concrete one. Our monies never ended with only Nam1. Men's Gold management members looted our funds, and we have evidence to that effect. So the seizure of assets should move beyond only Nam1. Now management members all fleet of vehicles, we know them. They build mansions. How much is their salary? So Nam1 assets cannot solve our problem.
Since we are here, we are going to sleep here. If it's 1 week, 1 week. If it's 2 weeks, 2 weeks, until we hear something better from them.
The next arrangement was that if they got here, we will go with 5 representatives of the leadership of the association to the EOCO building, into the EOCO building, where everything about them is properly secured. Then we will have a conversation with them. If everything is embodied in their petition, we will just pick it, and then they will come out and continue with the dancing and singing.
The customers are really frustrated and they want something done about this very situation. And so we are just in front of EOCO, where some aggrieved customers are here to know what exactly assets have been confiscated by EOCO in terms of Nam1's assets. And as you can see, police visibility is very high. They're making sure nothing untoward happens at this very premises. And so, yeah, the leadership of the coalition is also having a meeting with EOCO. And so anything that comes of that meeting will surely keep you updated in our subsequent bulletin. So from the old Parliament House here in Accra, George Quenin reporting for TV3.
All right, so that was George Quinn bringing us live update from that demonstration by Men's Gold customers. We've just been joined in the studio by Mohammed Salifu, who's a member of the communications team of the aggrieved customers of Men's Gold. He joins me for some discussion. Mahmoud, thank you very much for your time. So you were part of those demonstrators. I know that you had first started with some demonstrations sometime in December, carried through to January, and you were a bit relaxed. What triggered this very recent one?
Good afternoon to all viewers. The reason is that as soon as the government stepped in and closed down Men's Gold, it told us that it didn't owe us any responsibility, and that if we had an issue of getting our monies back, we should go to court. And our point is that Men's Gold didn't die a natural death. You came in, closed it down, so you should have found a way of securing our funds, because there's a provision in the Securities Industry Act, Act 929 of 2016, which says that as and where the commission is satisfied the monies have been obtained without a license or contrary to the terms of the license, the commission shall in writing instruct the company to pay us our monies with the accruing interest. That is one. And even for the company, it goes ahead to say all assets acquired through this illegal activities of the company should be retrieved. So why didn't the government take this step and rather went in, close the company, and tell us to go to court? Someone who's lost his lifetime investment.
Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission said they had to intervene because things could have gotten worse.
I don't get that, because there's a law which says that you should protect my investment, get me my money from the company, and even return all the assets that the company got through this illegal activity. Did you do that? And that is one.
Right.
You tell me to go to court. With which money? I've lost everything in this investment, and you are telling me to go to court. With which money would I go to court? And if you put that aside, the government told us that it didn't owe us any responsibility until we continued the agitation. And after the Kumasi demonstration, it came out to say it had issued an arrest warrant for Nam1 and 2 others. Currently, the government tells us Nam1 has been arrested in Dubai. How about the 2 other directors, the wife and the sister? Where are they? The government is telling us nothing about these 2 other directors, which means that it's a way of shielding Nam1 somehow to part away with our investment.
Let's come to your very latest demand,
Yeah.
the very recent demand. You want all his assets declared and confiscated?
Yes, number one, we want the assets, landed properties. We want to know how many landed properties have been frozen, if any, and how many cars, how many bank accounts, and how much is in these various accounts. That is one. And what step is the government taking or IOCO taking for the liquidation of assets very soon, so that people can get their monies back? Because people are dying. Some cannot pay for their school fees, some cannot pay for their rent and even medication. A sister TV station yesterday did a story on someone who had a spinal problem, and is broken, is now like a sore, and is spreading all over the body, simply because the person had lost a 120,000 Ghana cedis insurance package that he invested in this company. And so a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, that it says, I don't care about this. Your citizens are dying and you are folding your arms. So far, we've had about 15 of our members buried through this crisis. It's one of the biggest financial calamity to have hit the country. So you don't expect the government to be sitting and saying, I don't care. You must step in and do something as soon as practicable.
So what are you going to do after this demonstration?
We would continue the agitation. We are just at the IOCO premises. We are agitating. The protest is ongoing. When we are done with that, we'll go to the Attorney General. We'll go to the Ministry of Finance. We'll go to Security and Exchange Commission, and we will finally land at the Jubilee House. We will leave no stone unturned to get our monies back.
How many of your members were?
Even at this moment, we've been told that there's an allegation that even some of the cars that have been frozen by IOCO are being taken to official residence of some state actors. And which
Well, I'm glad you say it's an allegation.
It's an allegation. We are hearing it. And as soon as we heard it, I mean, people are getting more agitated. That, okay, assets that we are told have been frozen, are being seized. So, because they are luxurious vehicles, state actors want to use them and they are taking them to their various homes.
Have you been given reasons as to why, for instance, the radio station has been reopened?
We have not been given any reason. Well, we've not been given any reason, but the last time we went to Yoko, we were told that, okay, such properties, once is a landed property, it cannot go anywhere, it's around, so they can always put their hands on it if they need be. So that should not be so much of a worry to us. But the point is, where is the jet? I hear one day...
No, he never owned a jet.
Oh, we've been told he's paid. I mean, maybe he was paying and he's finished paying. And so the jet currently is his private property and ought to be in this country.
Well,
but
that's an allegation we've got to substantiate.
Yeah,
I've got to say a
but-
big thank you to you, Mahmoud, for your time. And we're going to follow up on all your demonstrations, and we certainly will be giving you all the mileage that you need. Thank you very much. Mahmoud is a member of the communications team of the Aggrieved Men's Good Customers. Now, a group calling itself the Coalition Against Kaswa Toll Booth is demanding a relocation of the Kaswa toll booth. Well, according to the group, the long hours of waiting in traffic is wasteful and counterproductive. Well, a statement by convener Ebenezer Fosuyale said many working in central Accra and other parts of the greater Accra region go through the painful experience of traffic congestion in the mornings as well as evenings. The group said the idea behind the choice of the location clearly points out a flawed decision. The coalition claims residents of Kaswa and other road users on the stretch burn a lot of fuel, staying in traffic for hours just to pay 50 pesos or 1 Ghana cedi at the toll booth. While the coalition is therefore asking that the toll booth be relocated to ensure traffic flow. Right, so in the studio this afternoon is Ebenezer Fosuyale, his convener of the Coalition Against Kaswa Toll Booth. Thank you very much, sir, for your time and for joining us in studio. So could you explain to us your reasons for demanding the relocation of a toll booth?
Thank you very much. Basically, this is actually like the umpteenth time that this advocacy has actually come up. And I must say that, I mean, this time around we want to get results. Basically, it has got to do with how a lot of Kaswa residents and users of that particular stretch of road are going through a lot of stress. Absolutely, I do. So a lot of stress going through Kaswa, probably from work. Before you get to Kaswa, you need to go through the stress. And then again, while going to work as well, you need to go through the same stress. And for us, we are saying that it has taken a long period for authorities to see how best they can help us. And we believe that at this point in time, something can be done to, as it were, solve our situation for us.
What makes you think the location of the toll booth is a problem right now? What makes you think so?
So you have two urban centers confluencing with each other. Now you have the western part of Accra, and then you have the eastern part of Central Region. Now these two townships are coming together and have merged, obviously. And right in the center of this urban confluence is a toll booth. Again, the structural or perhaps the engineering architecture is also questionable. Now you consider the fact that...
But it's same from Accra and Tema. It's a similar thing, isn't it?
So let's look at motorway. Motorway, for motorway toll booth, you have the toll booth at one side of the road, probably at a few distance, perhaps, before you get to the other side. Now, with Kaswa toll booth, you have the same stretch at the same point.
Okay.
And so there's always congestion.
Okay.
There's no room for anything to, for people to actually move around once there's any congestion at the point.
So
now, let me
apart from
emphasize
the relocation, there's really no other solution to tackling this challenge?
That is one of the major points that we are drumming home. We are saying that in the long term, if we talk about automation, if we talk about other means, it will still bring us to the same situation. Because mind you, we have a lot of people who are moving to Kaswa. We have a lot of residents. Now the population is growing rapidly. And so, and the figures shows that we have about some 3,000 people plying the road day in, day out. at peak levels, we have 4,000 cars. And so that shows that within the next period,
it's probably going to double or triple.
It's going to be absolutely. And so we are saying that looking into the foreseeable future, perhaps, and looking into the future, something can be done about this.
And what steps are you taking, particularly for the aggrieved residents, to ensure that these demands are met? What steps are you taking?
So this is one of the major engagements. We've had other engagements with other media networks. And what we are saying is that a petition is going to be presented to the government of the day and to the Ministry of Roads and Highways and other associated authorities to see how best our situation can be handled for us.
I'm going to ask you to hold on for me. The PRO of the Ghana Roads Authority, Dinah, has just joined us on the phone lines. Thank you very much, madam, for your time. I'm sure you've been hearing the concerns of the residents of Kaswa with particular regards to the toll booth and its heighten. Do you agree to them?
Well, I just joined you on the line that I didn't hear him properly, and I wouldn't know what agitation is about. If you can just brief me, I'll quickly.
Well, they're worried about the huge traffic congestion on the Kaswa stretch, especially where the toll booth is sited, and they're saying that's the major reason for the traffic that often occurs. Have you investigated this matter?
Well, they are bringing it to our notice. We all have traffic across the country each day. The toll booth has been there for a while now, and this is becoming a concern. Okay, we are now hearing it, and we will look at it.
It's pretty much interesting. I'd like him to engage you. She says this is the very first time they're hearing this concern.
Personally, I'm also a bit surprised. But, I mean, once you don't go through the stress, you may not probably appreciate how the issue has become an albatross around our necks as residents. So, I mean, at this point, we would like to probably talk to them to see how best we can engage each other. Just when the petition comes in later this month, I'm sure we'll put together our recommendations as well, because we have GPRTU and other stakeholders who are also keen when it comes to the conversation that we are having.
Right. Dinah, so you heard him. They intend to put together a petition and they want to re-engage with you on this matter. Are you willing to give them a hearing ear?
Well, if they are now coming to engage us, our doors are opened, and we are surprised that that wasn't the first address. That wasn't done at first. Rather, they decided to go to the media.
All right, thank you very much. Dinah Siade is with the Roads Authority. I just want us to quickly wrap up on this. What is your next step? You say you're presenting a petition. How many people are going to sign on to this petition?
So I think the numbers probably may be limitless because we are looking at a large number of people. Let's also remember that we have people also who ply the road going to Cape Coast, going through Takrady. And so the number is huge. And all these people are affected. We've had calls from people from Central Region, Western Region, and they are so excited about the fact that we should get results out of this particular advocacy. So we are hoping that something can be done and a solution will be put on the table soon that can be implementable for us to have some cool heads as far as our situation is concerned. I
thank you very much for joining us. Ebenezer Fosuyale is convener of the aggrieved resident of Kaswa who wants a relocation of the Kaswa toll booth. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. In other news, the Ishoban head works of the Ghana Water Company in the Shama district of the Western region risk total shutdown due to the activities of a quarry company. The Anankore River, which supplies raw water to the treatment plant, is alleged to have been blocked with sand and rocks being excavated by the company, depriving millions of residents in the metropolis of potable water. Here's a report by Erica J.
The Anankore River supplies raw water for the treatment of 4 million liters a day to serve the Abuadze Power Enclave, the Fiankwanta Regional Hospital, other district hospitals, industries and many households in Sekondi, Takrady and beyond. According to operators of the headworks, only 1.5 million liters of water is supplied currently due to the drop in water level at the intake point. Investigations along the Anankore River revealed that the Osamdodo quarry had blocked the water to enable it mine rocks. The Western Regional Manager of the Ghana Water Company, Engineer Mark Kujo, conducted journalists around the site after reporting the incident to the police. Large tracts of land had been cleared to enable the quarry mine close to the river. Over 20 dynamites were ready to be detonated. Over 20 trucks were taking turns to load mined rocks. Not even the presence of officials of the Ghana Water Company and the media would deter workers from loading the trucks.
We've reported to the Ghana Police, we've reported the matter to EPA, we've reported the matter to the Regional Coordinating Council for them to deal with the matter. This river can be blocked anytime with the situation on the ground here. That is what can happen any moment from now.
Already, the regional office of the Ghana Water Company Limited has started rationing water, and Engineer Kujo fears the worst.
If nothing happens and the river level goes down, the dam level goes down, we don't have any option. We have to shut down the headworks. Currently, we are doing 40% of design capacity, and it is a challenge for us. It's a challenge to supply water to the metropolis. It's a challenge to supply water to VRA and other institutions.
Close to an hour into the visit to the site, the 2nd Divisional Police Commander, Superintendent Foley Washington, drove in. He could only watch on while work continued unabated.
All right, so away from the Western region, the Police Criminal Investigations Department has just finished addressing the media on a number of issues. My colleague Selam Amenya joins me now to brief us on key developments. Selam, thank you for your time. So what did the police talk about?
Well, the police talked about the 3 girls who were kidnapped in the Western region. They also touched on the murder of Ahmed Swale, who used to be with the Tiger IPI. And also they touched on NAM1 and also some matters arising out of the number 12 investigation.
Okay, quickly, let's start off with the 3 girls.
Yeah.
What exactly did they say?
Well, so the CID boss, that's DCOP Mamitua Adodankwa, told us that the police know the whereabouts of the girls and they can assure that the girls are safe, but due to the modus operandi of kidnappers, they want to keep that to their chest. But they are allaying the fears of the parents that very soon they will be reconnected with their daughters. That's what they are saying. We push further thinking that they could tell us what is keeping them from rescuing or bringing the girls now, but she insisted that investigations are still on.
And they were unwilling to give any timelines as to when they were going to get them?
No, they said soon. That's all that they said. And with the issue of the murder of Ahmed Swale, you remember that recently there was an issue that came out that one of the key suspects in that particular case was arrested, and then the police took money and granted him bail. She has refuted those claims and is saying that it was rather an incident that occurred at a place called Wembley Pub at Kotobabi. One of their key informants told them that there was one guy who fits the description of those who murdered Ahmed Swale. So he called in the police. But when the police went there, surprisingly, the public came to the rescue of the guys wanting to assault the police officers. So they, sensing danger, actually let the guys off and also left the scene. So there was nothing like the guy being arrested and then take it to the police station and then granted bail. But she is saying that some people have been arrested, and 13 of them they've questioned. That include Anas as well as Kennedy Japan, so far as Ahmed Swale's death is concerned. And it's only one person that they are actually left in their custody, or they've remanded that person in their custody to assist with investigations. So the other 12 people have been let to go.
And what did they say about NAM1?
Yes, on NAM1, she says that on the 26th of last month, March, he was able to execute a bail that was given him on the 4th of March. But after he was granted bail, the police in Dubai arrested him again because he is on red alert of the Interpol. And once he was arrested again, he is in police custody and assisting with some other investigations and also a personal or a private matter. So once they are done, they are in talks with the police there. Once they are done, he will be handed over to the Ghana Police Service. And with matters arising after the number 12, they claim, you remember the wife of the late J.B. Dankwa came in to say that
Ivy Hayward Mills?
Yeah, some CID officers actually made some advances to us. They said that they've asked her to petition PIPS, and then they will look into the matter. And apart from that, they are done with investigations. The dockets have been sent to the AG, and once the AG comes out with its advice, we'll see the way forward.
All right, thank you very much, Selom. You were at that press conference. Let's just listen to Mami Tiwa Adodankwa. She was the one who addressed the press conference.
About why the police is not bringing them probably today or tomorrow. If you really know how kidnapping works, there's something that you don't have to do to compromise the safety of the girls in hostage. Like I said, it's taking us over 3 months to even identify where the ladies are. And what we don't want to do is to do anything that will jeopardize the safety of that. So we are working very hard. All stakeholders who are supposed to be on board are on board. And hopefully the girls will be brought back safe and sound.
Mami Tiwa Adodankwa there addressing the press. In other stories, Cabinet has placed a temporary ban on the importation of excavators effective May 1. Well, this has become necessary following government's decision to regulate its use, especially in its efforts to combat the illegal mining phenomenon popularly referred to as galamsey. A release signed by the Transport Minister indicated that the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Trade and Industry have taken note of the directive. All right, so let's stay a while longer on this latest cabinet decision. Godwin Ama is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. He joins us on the phone lines. Godwin, thanks for your time. So what's your problem with a temporary ban by cabinet?
Okay, good afternoon to your listeners. And I think we don't have a problem on it. But the view of the association is placing a ban on temporary ban on excavators. Will it really solve the issue that we have on the ground? Because already the excavators in there, we have companies that are also selling excavators. And we don't also use, excavator is not only used for mining or small scale mining. We have large excavators who are also using their equipment and heavy equipment to do their work. Some are using it for road constructions, others for construction purposes and all that. So placing a temporary ban on it, we think will not necessarily solve the issue of illegal mining. Because if you look at the drivers of illegal mining, it's not much of it. It's not on equipment that we bring. Although equipment are used, and if you use those excavators, then it means if you are using it for illegal mining, the degradation or environmental degradation will be higher. And I think that's why they are doing that. But there are a lot in here. What we need to do is government to ensure that the Minerals Commission is well-resourced, and then the security agencies are also helped, so that at the end of the day, what we can do is to ensure the enforcement of the laws that we have already. By placing a ban on it, I think will reduce the number. It will not increase the number, but it will not also solve the issue of illegal mining.
All right, so I've got to say a big thank you to you. Godwin Ama is the General Secretary of the Ghana National Association of Small-Scale Miners. So the news is that Cabinet has placed a temporary ban on the importation of excavators effective May 1. Well, so this has become necessary following government's decision to regulate its use, especially in its efforts to combat the illegal mining phenomenon popularly referred to as galamsey. A release signed by the Transport Minister indicated that the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Ministry of Trade and Industry have taken note of the directive. All right, so Alhaji Ibrahim Dori is a member of the Ghana Road Contractors Association and also joins me live on the phone on this latest development. Clearly, this can best be described as a blanket ban because road contractors also use it. Are you worried?
Yeah, thank you and good afternoon to our service viewers. That is true. As a road contractor myself, I think this temporary ban on importation of earth-moving machines, the one we normally use called the excavator, as a way to curb the illegal mining position, I think is a misplaced priority. coming from the government at this particular time, especially when people have actually gone into several other route contexts. People have bought in a number of excavators. They have done their work at various levels. They are not getting paid. If government wants to deal with the issue of illegal mining, I think it has to do with certain fundamentals. Recently, we saw a number of exposés that indicate, apart from the field work, there are administrative lapses that are actually hindering government position or government fight in terms of controlling and making sure illegal mining does not go forward. So I think, as it stands now, asking we road contractors who use these machines to get our vehicle, what we call our machines licensed before 31st March, I think it is highly misplaced. Government should deal with the administrative issues in curbing the problem that we have with illegal mining. People are actually very hard up as far as this economy is concerned. And if at this material moment we are bringing an austerity measure of this nature to bear on we contractors who have already brought in a number of excavators into the system, not for the purposes of illegal mining, but for the purposes of road construction and then infrastructure development, I think this ban is highly misplaced. And so government should take a second look at it.
All right, I've got to say a big thank you to you. Alhaji Ibrahim is a contractor, also sharing his own perspective on this latest ban on the import of excavators by Cabinet. Now, on our MCN video report today, Pasiba Williams reports on the bad state of a bridge at Zemasa in the northeast region.
This was a bridge constructed in 2002, and this bridge linked Kambaga in a village called Zemasa. Anytime it rains, students find it difficult to cross and go to school. We are calling upon the authorities to act now before the rainy season sets in. If not, students will be left behind and they cannot go to school. This is Pasiba Williams reporting for TV3, your citizen journalist.
And just like our citizen journalists, you can also send your video report via WhatsApp on 055-1433-044. That's 055-1433-044. We'll take a short break. When we return, we'll bring you the very latest in international news. We've got business and we've got sports. Right, welcome back to Midday Live here on TV3. Let's now do some business stories. And the Salaries and Remuneration Commission of Kenya has called on the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to discuss a smooth implementation of a salary structure in Kenya. The Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission spoke with our correspondent, Daniel Opoku, in Accra.
Discussions between the two salary commissions also focused on setting up a standing joint negotiating team in Kenya to deal with negotiations with labor unions. Dealing with market premium when the policy is implemented in Kenya was also discussed. Other topical issues included how to negotiate for categories 2 and 3 allowances for public sector employees in Kenya. Conditions of service and dealing with numerous strikes in the public sector in Ghana and Kenya also took center stage. Chief Executive Officer of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Dr. Edward Kwapong, said the meeting with the Kenya delegation would address salary disparities in their country. The Kenya delegation would be taken through how to migrate other public sector employees onto a salary structure. In the case of Ghana, the Chief Executive, Dr. Edward Kwapong, said measures have been spearheaded to migrate some agencies onto the single spine salary structure.
We are in the process of resolving the problem, just that there are legal hurdles to overcome. Some of them are saying that by their enabling acts, the boards are empowered to negotiate their terms and conditions of employment, and therefore they do not want to come under the single spine, which lies squarely in our jurisdiction. So there is a conflict of laws here. The provisions of the the Fair Wages and Salaries Act and the provisions of the enabling acts of some of these public service institutions.
Commission for the Salaries and Remuneration Commission of Kenya, John Kennedy Moyoncho, underscored the relevance of the meeting to address negotiation challenges in Kenya.
Because we find it's time consuming having to keep on discussing with the different unions, as it were. We don't know what the response will be like, because even as we speak now, we have strikes. The unions we don't discuss together, but each of them, we just come out of a very bad strike for nurses. There are other strikes that were on the way. Last year, 2 years ago, teacher strikes, doctor strikes, they were there. But what we're trying to do is to find a way, how can we get into an engagement mode where we can be able to ensure that we have one negotiation table.
In other news, the Energy Commission has cautioned dealers and importers of electrical materials to stop importing substandard products or risk their wrath. According to the Commission, those caught will face the full rigors of the law.
Inspection and Enforcement Director of the Energy Commission, Stephen Yomo, gave the warning when the Commission inspected electrical materials brought in by Havells Company Limited. Part of the inspection was to find out whether the company has met the international standard or engaged in the importation of substandard products. It indicated that the company has met the requirements, but warned dealers in electrical materials not to import substandard products.
When you go out there to purchase electrical wires, cables for Ghana, we want you to think about Mother Ghana. Get the right ones that are good for us. Bring samples for the Ghana Standards Authority to test them. When they pass them, then you can make them available. Try to help us in achieving this worthy cause of ensuring that the speed of fires go down in this country.
He made mention of a new regulation soon to be passed to check electrical wiring in homes. Chief Executive of Havells Company Limited lauded the Energy Commission for its role in ensuring that standards are met by dealers and importers in the country.
All right, so that's all for the very latest in business news. We've got sports now with Yao Ofosulabi. Yao, I know you were in Kumasi lately to work on some school sports. What did you do?
We're actually trying to put a focus on school sports and look at how it's growing over the years. I mean, over the years, they've been neglected for some time, so we just want to put a bit of spotlight on them to see how they are doing. But, I mean, I think that from what we saw, incredible performances, hopefully they can be roped into the national side.
And you're in Prempeh College this time?
I was in Prempeh College and then Opoku School as well to check out how sports is going there. But, I mean, all of that is coming up on the sports news right after this. Hello, good afternoon. It's time for sports news here. My name is Yao Ofosula. I've been out to our first story. And Prempeh College won the Ashanti Regional Athletics Championship for the first time in 10 years, ending Tiamadia Senior High School's dominance in the region. The athletic meetup saw schools from the region compete for medals and trophies. This is how the Baba Stadium looked when schools converged for the biggest event on the school's sporting calendar. Hundreds of students waiting to get in catch a glimpse of their athletes in action and provide their support. Out of over 100 second cycle institutions in the Ashanti region, 48 schools made it to the Super Zonals, and the atmosphere was electrifying. The 100-meter race, won by Saminu Abdul Rashid of Al Zaria School, provided the perfect confirmation that the schools labeled favorites to win the games were in for a tough day at the stadium. His confidence and sheer will to beat the others was what stood out for the athletes. The long-distance races were ruled by just one man. Daniel Abochi Gauga of Opokuware's Hearts carried him all the way. He won the 1,500 meters and 800-meter race and completed the boys' medley and the 4x400-meter races. The 17-year-old was named Boys Athlete of the competition for his stellar work on the tracks for his school.
First, I believe myself that I can win. Unfortunately, I have win. Somehow I happened with Peter. Although, if you are not able to complete something, you don't know how to happen. So I thank God for what happened in this park.
It was a charged atmosphere inside the stadium, with schools singing to cheer their athletes on and rival schools chanting against each other. Kumasi added a different feel to school sports. The visitors who had come in to watch the action in the stadium supported as passionately as the students. In the end, Prempeh College were champions, beating Tia Ahmedia Senior High School to end their stranglehold on the competition. It was Prempeh College's third trophy as regional champions, and the celebration it generated was palpable.
Happy, and we are glad that the trophy is now back to Prempeh, because since 10 years now the cup have been won by the Amas people, and now we have won the cup, so we are very happy. Very happy.
Monday no school. Monday no school. Monday no school. We walk from here to school. We walk from here to school right now. We are not taking any car. We are walking from here to school.
Event organizers Better Malt provided souvenirs for all winners, including medals and trophies. Brands manager for Better Malt, Portia Ofeasare, explained the motive behind the association with school sports.
The collaboration is not just with Ashanti region. It's a national partnership that we have with GES to sponsor Intercore Super Zonals and the National Sports Festival. And we call it Better Malt Intercore. We as a brand and GES Intercore, we share the same values of empowering the youth to pursue their dreams.
Tia Ahmedia Senior High School retained their title as winners in the girls division, with St. Louis Senior High School beating Kumasi Girls for second place. Grace Obuo of Tia Ahmedia was named the best female athlete after the games after providing some impressive times on the pitch. There were many positives after the event. The talent pool the country has that can halt our long wait for a medal at the Olympic Games and proper organization of it. But there were some negatives too. The tartan tracks looked in bad shape and were crying out for a facelift and the brawls among students in the stands. In all, Kumasi provided for TV2 News.
Solskjaer there talking about Paul Pogba, but don't forget tonight Manchester United will play the Wolverhampton Wanderers, who beat them in the FA Cup. We'll see how that goes, but there'll be some more news on News 360. My name is Yao Ofosulabi. After this break, international news and entertainment will follow.
Now, the story of Brian, a genius of many trades who suddenly finds himself entangled between a school mother and a daughter, unfolds on TV3. Apple for Two is a new captivating local drama series and presents Cleo, who in her lonely world reunites with her psychopathic school daughter and falls in love with one man, Brian, who finally wins the heart of Brian, who has become an apple for two. Catch all the action, fun and excitement as the story unfolds. Now, Apple for Two premieres on April 2nd at 9 p.m. on TV3 and shows every Tuesday on Thursday at 9 p.m.
So much venom. Why? What did I ever do so wrong to you?
I messed up, babe. I really did.
Now, this week's episode of Talented Kids saw contestants take audience and viewers back into time, wowing them with breathtaking performances. It was, however, the end of the road for Fadama-based rapper Godfred Penu, aka Fadama Boy, and Osika Band, as they were evicted.
Show me more of your love, 'cause I can't live without you.
Contestants of Talented Kids keep amazing viewers with thrilling performances each week. Themed back in the days, this week's episode saw contestants take eager audience back into time. Contestants took turns to perform music from high life greats like Irama Bedu, KK Kabobo, and Papa Yangsen. That was the Nshira Band with Medofwa Dadame by Irama Bedu. Singer Prince Ochre delivered a rendition of Papa Yankson and Paulino Odro's classic Tinamin Chain. A captivating performance by Nakias Dramani titled The Past in the Future won her the star performer. It was, however, a sad night for Godfred Penu, aka Fadama Boy, and the Usika Band as the journey came to an end for them.
You've done so well. Even tonight, the performances that have brought you to this stage, they were not too bad. But per the rules of the game, you had to face it.
Thank you very much, Uncle Ben. Guys, Fadama Boy, Osika Band, this is where the road ends. You guys have come a long way.
Catch the fun, the excitement, and the breathtaking moments 4 p.m. every Sunday on TV3. Talented Kids, free to play.
Free to play indeed. Before we go, news just in. 8 people are reported dead and 4 others in critical condition following renewed fighting at Zwaga in the Upper East region. So hundreds of people have been displaced while shops and property have been burnt down. Tension is reported to be increasing over an alleged chieftaincy conflict in the town. Zwaga, Widnaba and Tili communities have been at loggerheads following the installation of a chief. Security has been beefed up following a DITEC meeting. We're going to bring you further details on this story. You can visit 3news.com for the very latest updates from Zwaga in the upper region. Well, my name is Parkus Yasari. Thanks very much for watching Midday Live. For more news, you can log on to our website, 3news.com.